No more pop talk. Intro, come on.
Oh. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to The Grove. Today, we're reading Am I the Asshole stories, and my name's Ace.
I'm Tori.
And I'm Augusta.
I hope you like me interrupting the intro to shut down all soda discussion. There was some discourse happening. We've made some horrific revelations about our dear beaver over here.
Just because I'm Southern.
That'll be covered in another episode.
Just because I'm Southern, guys. It's because I'm Southern and Mexican. Can't say that.
You cannot say that. You're gonna turn this into an Am I the Asshole? Jesus.
Yeah, you're gonna turn this podcast episode.
Because I'm a little quirky.
Am I the asshole for making fun of where my friend's from? Jesus.
For context, my friend is Mexican. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that does sound like something that would be on here.
It would. It definitely would.
It would.
Gosh darn it.
Okay, well, let's get started on these stories. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm within the top 5.
Held.
Holding for 5 seconds.
So, do we want to do one of yours first?
4.
Or one of mine?
3.
Well, I got one. I got one that I think you'll love, Ace.
What?
Oh?
Is it the one I sent?
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, God.
So the title of this one is, Am I the Asshole for Sleeping a Lot? And it's by _your_author_. I, 18F, and my boyfriend, 19M, had a conversation about my sleeping schedule. My boyfriend goes to sleep late and wakes up early, typically waking up around 6 or 7 a.m. I'm still a student, and I can be very routine-oriented, so I typically go to sleep at 9 p.m. Depending on the day, I wake up around noon or later, but I never sleep later than 6 p.m. unless I take a nap. I also find it incredibly difficult to stay asleep, but also to wake up. I typically wake up for around 30 minutes every couple hours during the night, and then it takes me around 10 minutes to fully wake up when I'm done sleeping, but even then I still feel extremely fatigued and have days where I'm nodding off during my classes. My boyfriend recently told me that he thinks I may have hypersomnia, causing me to have trouble surrounding sleep. I agreed with him as most of the symptoms lined up with what I experience. We go a couple of days, and he asks me to try and wake up early so we can talk more before he goes to be a camp counselor. FYI, the counselors at this camp are allowed to have their phones on them at all times. They get busy and can't always be on them, but they can always have them, so it's not like we wouldn't be able to talk at all for weeks. Sorry, this is a wall of text. I tell him I'll try, but I can't promise anything, and he agrees. I end up not waking up when we agreed, and I wake up to text saying things like, Babe, are you still asleep? It's been hours, babe. What the fuck, babe? Today was supposed to be special. Doing this isn't okay. I texted him back and explained that I tried to wake up on time. I had set several alarms and put a timer on my lights so they wouldn't turn on to a bright white. But I couldn't keep myself awake long enough to pick up the phone to text him. He explained it made him feel like I didn't love him, and I understand that, but I feel that I love him in so many ways other than that one instance. I told him that I had said I couldn't promise I would be able to wake up early, and he said, it's about the effort you put into trying. I feel like I did everything I could to try and wake up for him, but to try and make it up to him, I promised I would wake up earlier and go to sleep later than usual for a while so we could talk longer. But I couldn't go to sleep late and wake up early, so I've been staying up all night without even taking naps. I've been awake for 3 days now. I feel like I shouldn't have to do this just to prove I care about him and love him, and it feels like he doesn't care about the effort I did put in to try and wake up for him that day. Did I really do something wrong?
Okay, What?
3 days.
3 days?
She stayed up for 3 days to prove that she loved him. And like he's the one who suggested that she has this hypersomnia, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
clearly it's not her fault. She did try.
Yeah, and also like
Yeah.
my biggest issue with this is like, yes, like I, as soon as you said like 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. the next day,
Like
that
that
threw me
is
for a loop.
long. That one is
That
long.
is a lot of sleep. That is almost 24 hours of sleep.
But if
But
she
also,
truly
yeah,
has this condition, that
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
that
not
like
her
you can't,
fault.
yeah, like you can't fully blame her. And she said that she has a routine and everything. It's like, huh? Like I sleep a lot. Yeah. But oh Jesus Christ. um I sleep a lot. You guys can attest this. I lately I've been getting up. I've been getting less sleep because I've been getting woken up by my parents because they're trying to make me get on a better schedule because I go to sleep really really late. So
Very.
I've been going to sleep about at around 3 a.m. and I've been waking up at around 10, 11 noon,
Okay,
which is a
well,
lot
at the
better than.
beginning, she does say, depending on the day, I wake up around noon or later, so she's not always sleeping till 6 p.m.
Yeah,
That's not.
yes, yes. Yeah, no, like that wasn't my point. I was just
Yeah.
trying to say, like, I understand how oversleeping can affect your life because I do oversleep. I oversleep a lot. If I do not have a bajillion alarms, I will not wake up. And if it takes me a solid 30 minutes to properly get up and get out of bed
But like this girl,
every
she
day.
set several alarms. She set her lights to turn on to a bright
Yeah,
white. And she says that she couldn't stay awake long enough to even text him, but she tried. Now, this has
yeah.
three edits. Three edits to it.
Okay,
So let's
okay.
read edit number one.
Right now, I'm saying not the asshole.
Yeah, I'm also thinking not the
Same.
asshole right now. Okay, edit number one. Thank you to everyone concerned for my health. I usually only sleep like this on the weekends or days I have no classes. But on days I do have classes, my roommate will typically help me wake up in the morning. I do struggle with depression, and I have been seeking out a good doctor that I can afford with my poor insurance. It's a bit ironic considering a discussion about my health regarding my sleep schedule was what started this. I am looking for a doctor to see what may be wrong, and I have a couple options to choose from. I just need to get the money to go to one. Okay, so that was edit number one.
Okay, so
Like,
based
it's.
off of that,
She's trying.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's clearly trying to figure out what's going on. She's clearly knows that there's something wrong. She clearly knows this, and she clearly understands that something that like, she needs help waking up. And luckily, she has somebody in her life who helps her get up and stuff. And it's like, and I feel so bad for her if she didn't have that roommate, because that would absolutely suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because who knows how many classes she would miss.
Yeah,
Even
missing
from
classes can
yeah,
be rough.
yeah, and that can start because from experience, I know that it can start like a basically a spiral. From experience, I know this because my last year, I kept sleeping through classes over and over and over again, no matter how fucking late they were. Because I would stay up so late on accident because I can't fall asleep at night, and then I would miss classes, and I'm like, okay, oh well, not a huge deal, and then they would just keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if she didn't have this roommate, I feel like she would have just, because she did mention she has depression, that depression would have just gotten worse and worse and worse because of that spiraling with the classes.
All right, let's go
Still,
to edit number two. I forgot to mention, I do have a cat, which helps me to wake up for at least 30 minutes at around 9 a.m., because that's when he wants to have his morning canned food, and he won't eat unless I'm awake with him. He was a rescue and gets nervous about eating without someone petting him. Some days I'm able to stay awake from then on, but most times I struggle to keep myself awake after feeding him. So, like, she has another way that she keeps herself
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yeah. Like, she's so
Oh,
very clearly trying. The boyfriend is being very unreasonable after having pointed it out.
Yeah, like, she said it in the previous edit, like, or something like that.
idea?
That, like,
She
she
should get a new
literally
boyfriend.
tried. Yeah, get a new boyfriend. Alright, edit number 3. This is the final edit. Thank you to everyone who has given me advice and gave their opinions in the matter. This was kind of a small thing, and I kind of feel like I'm overreacting to his comments and requests. I got a lot of feedback that I'll keep in mind as I move forward. I'll probably delete this post later because I've gotten all the input I need, but again, thank you to everyone who responded and gave advice and their input. I don't think she's overreacting.
I think is a good reaction for being told something super silly.
Yeah.
It's like his input, instead of like probably helping her get help to like sort this out, he instead acted like an asshole.
Yeah. Like, he could have been helping her get the money to go and get checked out by a doctor, but instead he put all the blame on her, and instead of trying to help her figure it out.
Yeah, comments
SMH.
seem to mostly. Whoa, hold on.
Oh?
What'd you see?
Most of these comments are saying you're the asshole.
Oh.
What?
Uh huh. Here, let me read a couple. The first one I saw says not the asshole. But because the first comment I see is not the asshole, but this is something you need to address. You say you go to bed at 9 p.m. and sometimes sleep until 6 p.m. and you haven't been to a doctor yet? This is a sign that something is wrong with your body and it needs to be corrected. It's affecting your personal relationships and will start to affect any jobs and or post-secondary education you pursue as well. Which, yeah. But the
Mm-hmm.
next one, you're the asshole. You're an adult and you can make your own choices. But you also have to face the
Bro.
consequences of said choices. If you choose to sleep this way, even though it's super clear sometimes something's wrong, and let it affect your life and the life you share with others, it's a problem. A problem you're well aware of and not doing anything about. That makes you the asshole every time. Please talk to a doctor. You could have a very serious vitamin D or iron deficiency.
Oh.
It's not her choice that she's sleeping like that.
Because
She's trying everything
the
she can to wake up.
if so my biggest issue with it all is, do these people realize, because like I'm so based off of how everything is worded and everything, I'm going to assume that they are based in the United States, because that is the main country that I know of that has it, that you have to actually save up to go to the doctor.
Yeah, she
You
mentions
can't.
that she doesn't have like health insurance and she can't afford to go to
Yeah,
the doctor yet.
yeah. Like, I'm assuming. Yeah, so I'm assuming that she's based in the United States. She The people who are calling her the asshole very clearly do not understand the American healthcare system to the point of realizing how hard it is to get into it.
And then another comment. I would have said not the asshole until I read you can get up to feed your cat every day. That cat's actively waking her up just like her roommate does.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like, that cat's very likely sitting on top of her, meowing into her face.
yeah, or and like probably pawing at her, hitting her, doing a lot of things to wake her up.
Uh-huh.
And it's very clear that, like, and you can tell that she most likely is like half asleep the whole time she is with the cat
Yeah, she says
because of
most
how
of the
she's
time she
speaking.
goes like she passes back out.
Yeah. And like the only reason she's staying awake is she's like the only reason she's even awake enough is because the cat will start meowing if they don't get pet while eating.
A lot of the
It's like,
comments are pretty much saying like you need to go get medical help, something is wrong.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the ones who are actually responding to the am I the asshole are mostly you're the asshole. Because here's another one. You're the asshole because it seems after you wake up to feed your cat, you make the conscious decision to go back to sleep when you could stay awake. If you're choosing sleep over relationships, that's your decision, but you and the people in those relationships need to know that's the decision you made. I don't think she's choosing it. She very well could just be like sitting back down and
or
falling asleep.
or yeah, or like laying on her bed a little to scroll on her phone or something. It's so easy to fall asleep when you're sitting in a chair, in a comfy chair, sitting on a couch, or laying in your bed scrolling on your phone. It's so easy because if you're already super exhausted, just sitting down, laying down in anything comfy, you're gonna instantly fall asleep.
Okay, here's a comment that I actually do like.
Okay.
I love posts like these because every time it's just, am I the asshole for having an undiagnosed, untreated disability that is not covered by insurance? And like clockwork, Reddit is here to say, yes, you are. Just say sleep hygiene more. I can almost feel it working. Anyway, not the asshole, OP. If you're only crashing like that on the weekend, it's probably because of sleep debt. I did the same thing all through school. I hope you are able to see a sleep doctor and get it covered under insurance, because insurance loves to reject sleep slash circadian rhythm disorder related claims. And then it's a
Oh,
bunch more about like sleep stuff. But if you can get a diagnosis, at
oh
least
my
you will have something
gosh.
to point to. But even then, people will tell you it's not an excuse to be lazy. You're not lazy, there's obviously something else going on here. I hope that you and a
Yeah.
doctor can find out what's going on and if it's easily correctable, great. If not, it doesn't reflect on you as a person at all. It's understandable for your boyfriend to be frustrated, but he should also be concerned about your health and supportive of your plans to seek help, and understand that this isn't something you can fix overnight. Which, yes, this
Yeah.
person nailed it because, like, it's very clearly something medical.
Mhm. It is
Either
so very clearly.
mentally or physically, it's something medical.
It is it's probably not specifically mentally, just physically in the brain possibly
Yeah.
because there are so many things that happen in your brain constantly, and if one of those things is wrong, so many issues can happen
But yeah,
because
reading that.
your brain is quite literally the central, the quite literally the most important organ in your body. If you did not have a brain, you would not be alive.
But reading that story, and then, like, when I was reading it, I was not expecting the responses at all.
No.
I was like,
I
okay,
didn't
this is pretty, like, clearly a not the asshole story.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Um all of my stories, I
Nah.
did not look at the comments. I only read the story. So
I
we're going to
did that for
experience the
some.
comments together.
Oh, let me get close to my computer.
Hey,
All right.
Redditors, please add spacing into your Am I the Asshole stories. I
Please,
beg of you.
I'm dyslexic.
please. It is
Um,
so difficult to read them when they are blocks of
this
text.
is Would I be the asshole if I fire my friend but keep working with his girlfriend? By Spirited Comment 153. Alright, I will try to make this as short as possible. I am a singer and a soloist, so soloist. So for live gigs, I had to get myself a band. The first person I approached was a girl from my uni. She was one semester ahead of me, so we never really spoke back then. Let's call her Sarah. I changed the band several times, but Sarah has always stayed, so we quickly became friends. Then a guy, let's call him Johnny, joined us, and it's been the three of us for a while. Johnny and I were really good friends during uni. Since it was COVID times, we were the only ones taking in-person classes we for a while, and we became friends. I really appreciated him as a friend. He introduced me to more people, and 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 we used to hang out as a group after school all the all the time. He would call me during the summer/winter breaks just to check up on me, which I low key hated because I hate phone calls, but still appreciated that he cared. And we would always have a deep conversation and stuff. Shortly after the three of us oh, stated playing together, started. Oh, that's say started. The three of us started playing together. Johnny and Sarah started dating. If it matters, they met because of me. It was fine at first, but eventually they became one of those annoying couples, and I think that think they only need each other and cut everyone else out of their lives. Johnny specifically stopped being a good friend to me and to everyone else for that matter. Now the main issue, the professional side. Johnny's music production business started to gain bit of traction and I was super happy for him. That is until he started going all diva on me, overcharging me for the gigs and treating me like a client and not a very important one. Now we can never rehearse because his schedule is full. He'll take days to reply to my texts and stuff like that. We're both in the same industry and both now we both now I think it's supposed to be no. And we both know how hard it is. I'm not asking him to do me any favors or to work for free. I'm just asking him to see me as a friend and not as a client. Sarah's become a bit like this too, but it's only when me and her I can tell she doesn't I can tell she doesn't mean it. And it's just Johnny's influence. Plus I value her as a friend and a musician. So with all that in mind, I'm thinking about replacing Johnny with somebody else. This is not would I be an asshole question. I'm okay with replacing Johnny. He's God, please space out the words. He's been hard enough to work with, lol. The thing is I would love to keep working and being friends with Sarah, but I'm afraid she would consider me an asshole for firing her boyfriend. Would I be one?
Hmm. That's a
I don't
difficult.
know. I don't
That's a
know.
bit
That
difficult.
one, on one hand, no. In the other hand, yes. Like you if you can't get him for rehearsals like ever, yes. No, yes, do it. You're not the asshole. It's a thing of you when you are trying to run anything, you need to have people who you know can consistently show up to practices, show up to whatever. So, I wouldn't say that you're the asshole for that. I kind of just don't think I'm thinking not the asshole even if she gets mad. It's a thing that's got to happen. It's either he's going to leave on his own or you got to kick him out because you can't sit with a person who's not showing up and expect a good result from that. And I know this because there's been times where I've had to kick people out of projects because they haven't been participating. They haven't been able to participate in it. They've not been able to do what they're supposed to do and stuff like that.
I mean, like, yeah, if you agree to something with a time commitment, like, you're committing yourself to it. So if you're not actually gonna show up, then you don't deserve that spot. Especially if
Yeah.
you can get someone who will be committed. But the thing is, the reason it's tricky is because I think no matter what, Sarah, if that's, I think that's what she was called, is going to think you're the asshole for firing her boyfriend.
Yes,
In her
but
eyes, you are going to
I
be.
feel like it's going to be a thing of she's going to get over it eventually. I feel like that's a thing that she can get over eventually if she's willing to fight for the friendship. And if she isn't, then I'm sorry, dude. You are gonna lose two friends. It
Well,
sucks.
I also see this as not the asshole? Similar reasonings. Like, if he's gonna, like, stop acting as a friend and start, like, say their schedule is full, that, and also not treating you well, well, then, is he really in the band?
Yeah. Like,
Okay. A lot of these comments are saying that, what's it called? Not the asshole.
mm-hmm.
But one of them says, not the asshole. You wouldn't be the asshole, but 90% chance she also leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
There's a good chance that she's gonna leave as well, because if your partner gets kicked out, there's a likely chance that you're gonna hold a grudge. If if she might not be willing to fight for that friendship. So it's a thing of, do you yes, do it, but know you're risking your friendship with her.
But you know, if your friend's gonna stick with someone who doesn't treat you well and doesn't value you enough, uh, is that really someone that you want to remain friends with at
Yeah.
that point?
Yeah.
Especially
Like,
because like the writer says that they don't blame her for the way that she's been acting towards them, but she still has been acting that way towards them as well,
Mm-hmm.
even if it is due to the influence of her boyfriend. So, you know, it's a
and
tricky situation because you're
like
risking losing two friendships, but it
and
may be for the
I
better.
honestly yeah, I honestly feel like losing both those friendships would be better for this guy, because it's a thing of it's a thing of they aren't being great friends to you, and losing people that were great friends but are not anymore is better than keeping not good friends in your life.
I say that as well. Not having shit people in your life is not good.
It is
Take
not.
them out. There's a trash can.
There's
That
the
is a
door,
really tricky
bitch.
one.
There's the door.
That is what I was thinking about.
All right. Yeah, so I think overall we're saying not the asshole
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah, I think it's not.
Mhm. So, all right. So, shall we move on to the next story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this is, am I the asshole for calling my trans friend by his dead name?
Mm.
This is by this account was quite literally named Burner.
Oh, okay.
1122, like, it's a burner account. So it's like burner 11223344 5. That is what it is. Sorry for grammar and spelling mistakes. I'm not in a good headspace right now. I, 23F, and my friend, 22M, Jake 22M, fake name, have known each other since sophomore year of high school. Despite knowing each other for years, we never got closer than hanging out in the same group and texting on occasion. That kind of friend. I'm closer with his to his girlfriend, Ashley 22F, fake name. And we hang out. Hold on, I'm gonna highlight as I read. And we hang out on one of the few times, one on one a few times a month, but never talk about her boyfriend very often. Some background. My dad passed away from a drunk driving accident when I was 8. I got my name legally changed when I was 18. My mom was supportive, but she didn't see the point in getting it done in the legal system because I had been going by my current name since I was 12, and everyone called me by it anyways. My birth name, what I refer to as my dead name, makes me incredibly uncomfortable to be called, and I generally just hate it, especially since it's the same name as a popular celebrity that I and my mom get compared to every so often. So, when I was given the option to go by my middle name, as I was starting middle school, I went for it and never went back to my given first name. When I met Jake, he was publicly trans and hung out with a lot of theater kids. I wasn't in that group, but I was in film, so a lot of my friends from my classes knew and hung out with him. That's how I met him. He was very open about having a dead name, what it was, and when he decided to change it, etc., etc. I never told anyone that the name I went by wasn't the one I was given at birth. And since I moved at 14, nobody except my family knew, and I was very okay with that. This is all important to the story. Recently, my friends came to the restaurant where I work. Me and my mom are both servers at a popular chain restaurant, and a lot of my friends love her. So they decided to visit the both of us for lunch. When we came over to say hi, said she looked like a famous celebrity. She laughed really hard and said that she actually named me after the same celebrity, and that he wasn't the first one to make the connection. Then she went on a little speech about how I hated the name and decided to change it when I was younger, etc., etc. I was a little embarrassed, but I didn't care too much because I just never brought it up that I changed my name. I wasn't trying to bury the truth. Jake looked extremely uncomfortable, and after about 15 minutes, he said he was feeling sick. So he and his girlfriend left. I didn't think anything of it. I wished him better and moved on. That was yesterday. And this morning, I got a call from him where he immediately started cussing me out and calling me a transphobic piece of shit, telling me that I was taking away from the trans community. And as a cis woman, I wasn't allowed to have a dead name and pretend to be trans when I'm not. I was seriously taken aback because I hadn't known that, like, me going by the name I that me not going by the name I was given at birth could be so triggering for someone. In the background, I could hear his girlfriend telling him to calm down and that it wasn't a big deal. He told her to stay out of it and that he was talking to given name, not you. This is where I may be the asshole. I lost my shit yelling at him, telling him he has no right to call me that when I have never once held his name against him or told him he couldn't choose what to go by. Jake said it was different and that transphobes don't get the right to change their names. After I repeatedly calling me by my given name and not letting me get a word in, I called him by his given name, and he just went quiet and started absolutely bawling. He said I was a horrible person and that he hoped I got hit by a drunk driver like my dad. That's the point where that's the point where I hung up. My phone has been blowing up from texts by my friends, but I haven't looked at a single one because I just can't handle that right now. My fiance gets home from work in an hour, and he is also part of the group. I just don't want to deal with any of it.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. Okay. First of
Okay.
all,
Yeah.
can I say something?
Yes.
Yes.
So the thing of like gatekeeping that trans people can change their name, that's stupid. I'll be the one to say it. That's stupid. I know people who change their name for, because they don't like it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, heck, if my mom had the choice, she probably would as well because she doesn't like her name.
Like, I don't see anything wrong in someone changing their name, and especially because this person said that they go by their middle name, which is something a lot
Exactly.
of people do.
Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
even my dad does that. I think it's technically not a dead name. If you just have it there, you just don't use it. But it's also
They
They
legally
did
stupid.
changed their
legally change
name.
it, yeah.
Oh, that is true. They did change their name.
But it was
I
still
mean, it's
their
just
middle
removing.
name initially.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just removing the first part of your name.
Uh-huh. And like there's
I mean, this
nothing wrong with changing your name as long as you don't
there's
like
not.
as long as it's not offensive the way like what you change it
Yeah.
to or if you
Mm,
do it in a way that would be. But like this person did it independently on their own because they liked
Mm-hmm.
the other name better and they didn't like being compared to this person, which is fine. The only thing that I would say would make them the asshole in the situation is the fact that they did um kind of like lash out and go back at their
Okay.
friend using their dead name.
This is where I'm gonna kind of take like a take back. To be
Yeah.
fair, they did the same thing. It's just matching each other's energies.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it
Yeah.
is kind of their fault for doing the same thing. The
Yeah. It.
friend. And I'll be the one to say it. If you do stupid things like that, you're gonna get stupid actions coming back to you.
But like
Mhm.
that's the only way I could see them being even somewhat in the wrong in this situation. But they weren't the one who did it first. Especially because this friend heard about how much they hated their name and then proceeded to call them, and then the whole drunk driver comment,
It was
Yeah.
uncalled
that
for.
is one of the worst things you
Yeah.
could say to someone, knowing that her
Yeah.
father died in an accident with a drunk driver, to then
Mm-hmm.
say that you wish she would die to a drunk driver, that's
Yeah.
disgusting. Actually
They
disgusting.
quite literally. I genuinely don't think that OP has anything to apologize for. I don't think they're the asshole in any way possible because the only reason, like, she only did it after Jake said her dead name a like a bunch of times. Quite literally, she says that she she only lashed out after he kept yelling at her, calling her by her dead name, and not letting her get a word in. At that point, I don't think she's the asshole because she's quite literally lashing out because she couldn't say anything in a calm way. That was the only way she could say anything
Yeah,
because
it's
Jake didn't
just
want to listen.
the
Yeah,
fact that
no.
Jake was trying to say that only trans people can change their name, which is not
Mm,
true. Anyone could.
it's not.
There's no
Yeah.
It's stupid to
laws
think that.
saying that you can't change your name if you're not
And
trans.
it's also not
It's
disrespecting the community. Let's be real. We
no,
don't.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you find a name that better suits you, that you are more comfortable with, it does not matter if you are cis, it does not matter if you are trans. You are doing what is something that is best for your identity no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I
Because,
said, it's just a name. If you don't like it, you don't have to
yeah.
keep it.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. Um, this family could, like, for all Jake knows, is she could have been trans but never told anybody. And the name that they had been given was a variation, like masculine variation of that celebrity's name to kind of give homage to that celebrity. Like that's all Jake could have like Jake couldn't have known that if that was true or not because not every trans person is super open about them being trans. A lot of trans people keep it to themselves
I
because
mean,
the
Nikki
world,
Tutorials, she is a key example. She only came out because she was threatened to be outed, which is
oh my
terrible.
god.
That's
Yeah.
But
fucked
she
up.
Like
was like a leading figure in the beauty community, and no one knew because she didn't have to tell anybody.
yeah. Like it's a the biggest issue is like quite literally I don't it makes no sense to me how Jake was like, "Oh, you're being transphobic." When for all Jake could have known is that she could have been trans and told literally nobody.
And also, I would argue that changing your name, even if you are cis, is quite
Yeah.
literally the opposite of transphobic. It's making it a
Yeah.
more open, like, it's making it just more open and accepting to change your name,
Yeah.
regardless of
That
your reasoning.
makes her yeah, it's just a generalized thing of you shouldn't get judged. First of all, you should never get judged at all for doing anything unless you do something horrendous that is affecting other people. That is the only time you should get judged. If you're doing things that only affect yourself, then you should never get judged for that. And changing your name is a thing that only affects you. And yes, the people around you have to adjust to the name, but it's really only affecting you.
Yeah. That was a roller coaster of a story, though.
Yeah, that's
I
why I
see why you
chose it.
chose it. Oh,
Yeah, that's why
stop.
that's why I chose it, because it's a it's very it's really confusing, because you're expecting like a really bad story based off the name. You're expecting this person to be horrible, because then the title is quite literally, "Am I the asshole for calling my trans friend by his dead name?" That's not a title you see very often, and that is a title that makes you immediately think, "Oh yeah, you're the fucking asshole." But then you read it, and then you're like, "Hold on, no, you're not the asshole. Jake is the asshole."
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you,
Um,
Jake. You're a terrible person to the trans community.
um, one of the comments says, like, this is like one of the bottom comments. Kind of the a-hole. While I agree that it is not okay for Jake to call you by your dead name, definitely not cool for you to do it either. 100% on your side, though. Jake seems like a friend you gotta cut from the group. And it's like, I get it, but it's also, with how many times Jake did it, it quite literally was just throwing it back in their face to be like, "This is how you're making me feel."
well, I got another story, guys.
Whoa.
Wow. This one is: Am I the asshole for telling a friend to leave for calling my daughter a brat?
Oh.
I am a 40-something single father with full custody of a teen daughter. A friend was staying with us for a few days while her house is being worked on. When I was folding laundry, this friend told me I shouldn't do my daughter's laundry. I told her that I usually just grab it if I'm already doing my own. Thinking that this was a friendly conversation, I mused that when I bring her her laundry basket back to her room, she rolls her eyes and thanks me and kisses my cheek, which I think is cute. This friend goes on to calmly tell me that I'm raising a spoiled brat. She gives several examples of my daughter's spoiled behavior, which I don't agree with. She also used the anecdote I had told her about the laundry against me. Though she was acting calmly, I was still upset. I immediately asked her to leave. After a bit of back and forth, she relented. I've received messages from friends and also coworkers, as this is a former coworker. The vast majority are similarly shaming me for telling this person to leave. A few messages are even insisting I let her stay because she's staying at a hotel costing her $250 a night for the next 2 nights. I told them she overstepped and I was not going to stand for it. My closest friends are on my side, however. I've been receiving many shaming messages. I am starting to feel almost guilty about this, and I feel as if I'm doing something wrong. My defense is protecting my child. However, a few people have said that's a weak defense. I want an outside perspective. My mind is reeling. I have work in a few days and I can't sleep. And that's the story.
Hmm.
There is an edit, but
Hmm.
let's open up the
Okay.
discussion first.
So the issue is we don't know the behaviors that were listed.
No,
That is the issue. So
but
like,
going off
I
of
don't.
what was mentioned, it, it's the daughter. Yeah, she rolled her eyes, but she thanked her father and she kissed him on the cheek for doing her laundry.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah,
like
like
she forced
I.
him to do it. She would have done it herself, it seems. He just did it because he
Yeah,
was doing his own.
and so it also seems like that's like a cute little routine with them.
Yeah,
Like,
like, it's
it's
one of
like
those little
I feel like,
jokey, like, this is just our relationship things.
yeah, yeah, like that feels like one of those things that like you do with like a friend, a parent, somebody who knows that it's a joke. Like, because you've built up that relationship to know that it's a joke. So I feel like that's not that they're not the asshole for that. So at least what we know, the only other issue, like I just want to know what other points were brought up by this friend, because then we would get a clearer picture of how this kid acts. And right now it just doesn't seem like it, but with that information, we might be saying something different.
All right, so here's the edit. Despite my initial thought that people were contacting me because she messaged them directly, I've discovered this morning that it was actually a social media post that spun the story drastically. I requested multiple times for her to drop the topic before I asked her to leave, whereas this post is claiming I flew off the handle after she expressed concern regarding my daughter's behavior. To say I'm livid is an understatement. So she publicly shamed this person
Oh my god.
after she shamed his daughter.
If okay, trust that part, that is not okay. You should never publicly shame somebody for a conversation you had one-on-one unless it's something that you need to, like, you think people should know as a warning. This is not a thing you should warn people about, because it is quite literally just a disagreement among two friends about how to raise a child.
And then, because I know we brought up not knowing some behavior, this is a comment. Not the asshole friend was totally out of line. Well done for defending your daughter here. And even if you are spoiling your daughter, the friend could have just said, "You're spoiling her," and you could have both laughed it off. Calling her a brat, unless you are leaving out huge chunks of information here, isn't okay. I wonder if she would have made that same comment if it had been a mother folding their daughter's laundry. And then OP replies to that person and goes, that's not something I even thought of. I'll be the first to admit that my daughter is a bit of a daddy's girl, but I've also made sure she understands that she earns what she gets and that there are consequences to her actions. If she were simply to have said that she was spoiled, I might have even laughed and agreed, but a spoiled brat takes it to a whole nother level that I was not comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
It seems like, yeah, first of all, I would like to point out this is a single father with full custody, so of course his daughter is going to be a daddy's girl. Single father, sole custody. But it seems like he's doing a pretty good job raising her. It's not like she rolls her eyes, yes, but she still thanks him, kisses her dad on the cheek.
And what teenager doesn't, honestly?
Yeah. I used to get in trouble for rolling my eyes all the time. And I didn't actually ever mean anything by it.
Yeah. I never meant to roll my eyes. Because I genuinely didn't know what it meant to roll your eyes for the longest time. Because it's so first of all, it's so confusing. Neurotypicals, please, give us a handbook of what things mean, first of all. And second of all, back on topic now. It really is just they're trying their best. There's nothing bad about this. They're not doing anything wrong.
She's not cursing her dad out and being like, "Why the fuck did you fold my clothes?" And I would also like to point out that oftentimes eye rolling can be more of an affectionate thing, like an "oh you" thing,
Yeah.
Not like a "ugh, are you kidding?"
Yeah.
And yeah, you can joke that someone's spoiled, but I would agree that the whole adding brat to it, your kid's a spoiled brat. She's spoiled, and brat kind of implies a bunch of other negative characteristics about her. That she is rude or something,
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Augusto?
I don't know.
I feel like this one's hard. It needs more information.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit more characteristics to be aware of what's the whole situation and what they saw.
Yeah,
where it could have been handled differently by the person who said it.
Because the whole thing is, it's in the post. It says she gives several examples of my daughter's spoiled behavior, which I didn't agree with. But what are those examples? Because that could very well
Yeah.
change things a bit.
Yeah. Cause like if she was like the type of kid who was oh, like, oh, that's so stupid. You shouldn't be doing that because I have this and this is so much better. That's a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great example of a spoiled brat. But if it's smaller things like that this person is reading way too much into, that would keep the story this it would keep the like the not the asshole thing that we have come to the same. But if it's bigger things, why aren't you including them?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I still
And
think
it feels
the friend is definitely an asshole in this
oh
situation
yeah,
because you
Oh,
are
yeah,
the
for sure.
guest. You are a guest in this person's house, and when you are staying in someone else's house as a guest, that's not some like you're not in the position to judge them.
yeah. Like
Like
you
you're
can bring
literally
it up.
judging the person who's putting a roof over your head at that moment, and then to
Yeah,
publicly shame them on social media is just way too
Pathetic.
much.
yeah. Like I feel like yes, you can bring it up. Like, hey, are you like? I feel like this is making this kid a little spoiled, or like giving them not good I feel like the way you're treating your daughter is giving her not great behavior. That's a
Mm-hmm.
better way to bring that type of conversation up than I think your daughter's a spoiled brat. You're making her a spoiled brat. That is so that's coming off with so much hostility right off the bat that it's immediately going to make the person receiving that comment defensive. And you're not leading into that conversation very well. You should be leading into it a lot more gently. Like, hey, are you like I wanted to talk to you about your daughter's behaviors
Mm-hmm.
and like some things I've noticed. I could be overthinking this, but these are things I've noticed and what I think they might mean. Like, and I get this is also me being like really interested in psychology is why I think about things like this, but it's also really simple.
Okay. So I know we all picked out like a minimum of 5 stories, but I think looking at length, we're each gonna have to do 2 for this one, and we can do more of these in the future.
Yeah.
So keep
Yeah.
ours saved, just because we're already at 53 minutes and we've only done 4 stories.
Wow.
We've been talking a lot about them too.
Yeah, but it's fun. We're having good
Yeah.
discussion. So,
Yeah.
Augusta, you're next.
I am? Oh,
Give us a
shit.
story.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get to tell one more, and then Ace gets to tell one more.
All
I
right.
have to figure out which one I want to tell.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Okay,
one of
this
the
one's a
long
bit
ones for sure.
complicated.
All right.
But this one. Okay. This one. This one's interesting. Am I the asshole for confessing past feelings to a friend? And this one's by the creature
I
cryptid.
saw that one's title.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, for some context, under a year ago or just a couple months ago, I had a feeling for a friend, but they were dating somebody already. Being in a bad depression and on social media, I left comments on random posts that were, "Hi, cat," that were confessing my messing feelings or questioning them in general. Hi, Michi. Um, I left other comments on other posts about other things and did not. Oh god. Hi, cat. What are you trying to do? Hold on.
You
Hi,
need to
kitty.
take a video. You need to take a video of Michi so I can put it in right here.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Let me pull it. Let me pull up my phone.
The viewers must see the cat. The viewers have to see the cat. Don't
Yes.
deprive them of
Cat.
this.
He's walking around my room right now, and I gotta make sure not to show a box because he flipped it over to the side that had the address, and he left.
Get a video later. Get a video later.
You have a video of him walking out my room.
Get
That's what you're getting. You're getting
a video in a video later.
Michi.
Okay, still we need to focus.
Oh, sorry. Okay, literally crawled up on my leg. Let me reread that. I'm sorry, guys. So, for some context, under a year ago or a couple months ago, I had feelings for a friend, but they were dating someone already. Being in a bad depression and on social media, I left comments on random posts that was confessing my messing feelings or questioning them in general. I left other comments on other posts about things that did not deal with my friend. To let you know, I did not write anything I wanted to take action, pursue my friend, or sorts of all. Nor did I did any actions IRL. These comments were mainly me saying, I think I'm in love with my best friend, and so on. Anyways, after a year, I already moved on for a long while and looking at different things life through and other relationships moved on. The boyfriend comes into my DMs, accusing me that I'm trying to steal his girl. I've not done anything at all, and apologize if I ever did anything wrong. They called me multiple things and mentioned my comments on random posts on Instagram. I told him I'm suffering depression and thought I was in love with him, but I was not and moved on from that, which was true. The boyfriend doesn't care, and I just stopped texting him back. I told my friend about the whole how I thought I was in love with them, but never pursued anything and apologized any past actions if I made them uncomfortable somehow, and told them what I did in the past and what I said. I told them it was thoughts and never told them it was because it was not my place to talk about it, and I moved on from it. They say they hear me and need to take a step back from this. So in general, am I the asshole in this situation? And basically a homewrecker? A strong word, but I'm not sure what other word I would use.
I feel like no. I don't think so, in my opinion. What are your guys' opinions on it?
It's kind of conflicting because
Yeah.
I feel like the comments did not need to be made
Yes.
in the first place. You know, like this could have been written down on a piece of paper. But putting it on social media, even if it's on random posts, you are putting it out there publicly. So you
Which
can't expect that to not come back to you eventually.
And I found this lightheartedly, but that is kind of weird.
Yeah, it was definitely weird behavior.
Yeah.
And near
well,
the end, they
and
say
a little-
they thought they were in love, but at the beginning, didn't they say they were in love with their best friend?
They had feelings for their friend.
So
Yeah.
it's like you're also then being dishonest because you're pretty much saying, "Oh, because of my mental health, I thought I liked you," but you in the post you said you had feelings for them. It's just this is a weird one.
Yeah.
It is.
Like something about it just rubs me the wrong way.
For me, I want to see it. I kind of see it as like they didn't know how to process the feelings, and their first thought was commenting on posts. And yes, it was a harmless thing at the time, but and it coming back to them was inevitable, yes. But I generally do not think that they're the asshole because they never actually went out of their way to be like, hey, you should stop dating this person and date me or anything. They never actually pursued anything. They never actively tried to make their best friend their partner.
I agree.
So that's kind
there.
of why I'm leaning. That's what kind of why I'm leaning, not the asshole, but it's a very sticky situation.
Like, I agree. I don't think they're the asshole, as they never actually tried to wreck the relationship. However, I think they need to take more accountability. for
Yeah.
what
My
they've
thing is,
done. And that's why it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it does feel like they aren't necessarily taking the accountability so much.
okay, my point of view of this. They're not an asshole, but they are a weirdo and a bit of a creep for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, something about all
Yeah.
of that rubs me the wrong way, because it was just such
It's
a
weird.
weird way to go about it.
And I
It
will say
is.
this lightheartedly. I would recommend getting a therapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys want to hear the comments?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
You're the
I
ass.
need to know.
Hold on. You're the
Ooh.
asshole for calling someone else's. Sorry. You're the asshole for calling someone else's relationship into question on social media. Grow up. And this is
Oh.
from OP. OP commented back. Coming to a genuine place, I did not question their relationship at all. My comments are mainly I'm in love with my best friend as well in person. I always told them I was happy for them to find someone. So not sure where you're coming from. I would like to hear a further explanation from you because genuinely I don't understand. It does have -5 downvotes.
The post in general or that comment?
That comment, the one from OP.
Oh.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, is it doesn't seem like they're taking accountability.
That and I feel like there's more to the story that we're not
Definitely.
hearing
Like the other
because
comments.
yeah, yeah, as well as the boyfriend coming at them, there has to be a reason
Mhm.
as to why they just came after them. There's definitely a lot we don't know, but based off of the information we do know, I've gotta say it's a like a neutral thing. There's so much that we don't know that clearly is seeming like they're going to be the asshole, and there's so much you can only help it so much with the they never actually did anything part. I've got to call it just a neutral asshole, not the asshole thing. It's
They
like a
are
neutrality thing for me.
an asshole, just a creep.
Just a
Sorry.
weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a bit
Yeah.
weird.
There's another comment on here.
Oh.
You're not the asshole. You confess your feelings in a way that doesn't involve directly pursuing or disrespecting your friend's relationship. You own up to your actions and apologize when confronted. It's understandable for your friend needs space, but ultimately you didn't do anything wrong.
But again, I agree, but also at the same time, I still feel like there's things that we don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
feel
still
like there's
gotta
information missing.
the
Yeah.
these have a lot of downvotes. But it said the OP said, "Okay, thank you. I appreciate this comment very much. I know I did some wrong, and ultimately this is the actions of my consequence. I'm just glad I'm not the asshole." So they're aware of their actions, and they did some wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, it's such an iffy situation. I
It really is.
chose this one because it has the asshole, like they're the asshole tagline put on it. But it's also a really weird situation because leaving your comments that you're in love with your best friend on like comments, it is a bit weird. It is a bit creepy, especially if your friend doesn't like you back and they don't want
And
to deal
was
with that.
actively in a relationship as you're
Yes,
making those comments.
it is, and I hate to say it, it is kind of like being a homewrecker. Sure, you're not destroying that relationship, but you're making them feel weird while being in a
And
relationship.
it's like, were you
Yeah.
making these comments with your like known social media account that your friend
Yeah.
and other people
That
follow, or were you using like a, burner
Yeah,
account? Because that's
it
different.
has
But
it
if it's
has to
led back
be
to you to the point where the boyfriend is
yeah.
able to find them, that's what makes it weirder.
Yeah. That it has to be their normal account because otherwise I don't think the boyfriend would have been able to find it out.
and
Exactly.
also if it had to be where the boyfriend had to like call him out, that's a
There
little
had to
weird.
been other
There had to
stuff.
be something. Yeah,
Yeah, there had to have been at least one or two unsettling comments.
Yeah, because didn't the boyfriend call this out like a while after these comments were made?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
So there had to have been other behavior that led the boyfriend to find that information
Yeah.
and to call them
Jeez.
out for it. Or had the boyfriend known about these comments when they were made? There has to be a reason he is bringing it up now.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that this one is just an odd situation.
Yeah.
With the details we have, I don't think they're the asshole, but I think there's something weird about this story. And
Yeah.
it would be
There's
nice to
definitely
get the perspective of one of the other people.
yeah. I would love the perspective of the boyfriend
Yes.
because then we would be able to get like fully what we know because the boyfriend is the one who called them out and led to the confession. So I really want to know the boyfriend side of it
Mm-hmm.
because that is the best point of view we will get of this person and the comments that they created and they made so we can understand exactly why we have such a bad feeling about it and what really went on.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more story. Ace. It's yours.
This is the final story of this episode, and this is am I the asshole for missing my daughter's graduation/wedding in favor of her sister? This is a burner account, but the name of it is Wedding or Graduation. This is a very interesting story, and I really did enjoy reading it. Throwaway account because my family know my regular Reddit account. Okay, Reddit. I am in a no-win situation. I am not sure what to do to minimize being the asshole to either one of my daughters. I have two daughters, Ella, 23, and Lana, 18. Fake names. Growing up, Ella and Lana were really close, but this all changed once they became teenagers. In high school, Ella always worked really hard and got amazing grades. She did exceptionally, and she was, however, very shy and kind of nerdy and struggled with insecurities regarding her appearance and didn't make friends easily. She didn't date at all in high school and never revived much attention from the boys her age, and even dealt with some bullying in high school. She did finish high school as valedictorian at the absolute top of her whole graduating class. She worked so hard and secured admittance into her dream school with scholarships. I could not have been more proud of her. In contrast, Lana is super popular. She runs track, has a lot of friends, and receives a lot of attention from boys. She goes on dates and has an active social life. Despite being popular, she still struggles academically. She's dyslexic and had to work really hard to pass her classes. She is class of 2024. And even though she is not valedictorian, I'm still super proud of her. I already love this dude. Problems started when Ella went away to college. Her freshman year, she started dating Adam. This was her first time receiving any attention from a guy, and she fell fast and hard. I would even go as far as to say she was infatuated with Adam. In her eyes, Adam could do no wrong, and he was just the greatest thing ever. When we would talk all of her conversations revolved around her and Adam, and she asked if she could bring him over for winter break. Of course, I said yes, and welcomed Adam into my home. Adam was not as great as she made him out to be. I did not like the way he treated her or spoke about her. He was disrespectful towards me and spent most of the time in my home hitting on Lana, who was at the time only 14. To her credit, Lana had no interest in Adam and spent her winter break avoiding him. Until one night, Adam tried to go into Lana's room in the middle of the night. Lana freaked out and started screaming and then yelling at Adam, which woke myself and Ella up. This was my last straw. I kicked Adam out of my house. Ella was absolutely devastated, but she placed the blame on everyone but Adam. She was mad at her sister for trying to steal her boyfriend. She was mad at me for kicking the love of her life out of the house and telling her that he was too interested in children and never allowed back in my house. After I kicked Adam out, he decided he had enough and broke up with Ella. Ella held a lot of resentment toward Lana for ruining her relationship and trying to steal her boyfriend. Since then, Ella has moved on. She has lost a lot of weight, which helped with her self-confidence, which led to her going out more and meeting a wonderful guy, Eric. And then she fell in love again. Eric and her were together through college, and Eric proposed right after graduation. I am not super close to Eric, but he seems like a decent guy, and he loves Ella. He is respectful and polite every time I have been around him. As long as Ella is happy and in what seems to be a healthy relationship, I am happy for her. Now, I have always tried to treat Ella and Lana equally and never favor one over the other. I've always been present for all of their activities and major life events. I've gone to every track meet for Lana and every debate for Ella. I was there for Ella's high school graduation and for her college graduation. The only event I ever missed was unfortunately a huge event for Ella. In high school, there was an exam that was given to Latin students nationally. She scored the highest in the state, and her school had an award ceremony where she was honored. It was a pretty big deal. It was one of her proudest moments, and she still considers it one of her biggest achievements, as it was something unique to her. The only reason I missed it is because I was in the hospital in the ICU for a very severe case of pneumonia that was septic. I spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital, and half of the time I was in the ICU on a ventilator and heavily sedated. I felt horrible, but this really was out of my control. And if I could have been there, I would have done anything to see her accept her honors. She was a bit sad that I could not be there, but at the same time, she understood. Despite understanding at the time, she has thrown this back on me since the whole Adam incident. She is convinced that I love and favor Alana more than her. This is where things get even more complicated, and I am going to be the asshole. Both girls went to a rather small private high school. The way the school does graduation is somewhat different. Since their classes are so small, they do graduation ceremony in August after summer school courses have finished. So all the kids in summer school are able to attend a graduation ceremony, and they do not have to do two separate ceremonies. All graduation ceremonies take place in August. So Lana's graduation ceremony is going to be held August 10th, even though that her last day of school was June 7th. This is not new in how this school has always done things, and Ella knows this is how it was because this is how it was for her too. I have known for a while that Ella and Eric have been planning their wedding, but it was supposed to be next year sometime. Imagine my surprise when I got my wedding invitation and the date is August 10th. I called Ella immediately and asked her what was up with the change of the date and reminded her that her sister's graduation was on the 10th. She confirmed that she was planning to have her wedding later next year, but an opening became available at her dream venue, and she could not pass on it. And since it was last minute, the venue is giving them a big discount. She claims the fact that it was Lana's graduation day completely slipped her mind in the moment, and that it was not intentional. Again, I might be the asshole for asking her if she could change the date. She said she could not change the date as the venue is booked out for the next few years, and she has already sent out invitations. They're paying for the wedding themselves, but I offered to pay for the venue at the next opening or pay for a completely different venue to help call guests if she would reschedule. Emotions were high, and we ended up fighting. But it comes down to the fact that she wants me at her wedding to walk her down the aisles, and that I always favor Lana, and I missed her other big achievement, and I have never missed any of Lana's events. So I should make things even and skip Lana's graduation and attend the wedding. She also said that if I choose to miss her wedding and confirm favoritism towards Lana, she will go no contact with me. I won't get to see her get married or have children or have a relationship with my future grandchildren. Now, on the other hand, I have Lana. She is convinced that her sister is still holding a grudge against her and intentionally scheduling her wedding for the same day. She says that if I give into Ella's manipulation and miss her graduation, that she will never forgive me. She goes away to for college just a few weeks after graduation and says that will be it. She is tired of me favoring Ella by not calling out her on her manipulation and always letting Ella be mad at her and put blame on her for things that aren't her fault. She pointed out how hard she worked to be able to graduate, and this is a huge thing for her. And if I missed it, she will go away to college and she won't be coming back. She thinks that if I don't go to her graduation, I am picking Ella over her and letting Ella get away with everything and proving that Ella is really the favorite and always will be. Now I have to choose between both of my daughters at the risk of losing the other daughter. I should mention that both the graduation and wedding are the same day and in the same time frame, and the wedding is about a 5-hour drive, so it's not like I can go to the graduation and miss the wedding but still show up for the reception. I can pick one and alienate the other, or I could not show up to either and lose them both. I am at a complete loss and I see both sides. I would love to more I would love nothing more to walk my daughter down the aisle on her wedding day, but I'm equally proud of Lana and I want to be there to see her walk and get her diploma. This is absolutely eating me up and I'm not able to sleep because I just feel like an asshole and a failure as a mother no matter what I do.
Well, shit.
Um, this
To
is
be fair,
just.
I can
I
see like the
must.
younger kids' POV.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like OP is
Yeah.
an amazing parent. I
Mhm.
mean, and it sucks that Ella is using the literal time that OP was in the hospital against
Mhm.
them because had OP not been in the hospital, OP would have been there. Like, but
Also, it.
Yeah.
I'll say this as somebody who's seen people who have what's how do you pronounce it? Anomia?
Pneumonia.
pneumonia.
Pneumonia? It is really difficult to deal with. I've seen my sister's going through it right now, and she can hardly breathe. She can't go outside because of how bad it is right now. Like she's only
Yeah.
allowed to be in the house.
Yeah.
So the point the kid is using that against their parent, they're
Mhm.
kind of the asshole for that.
Like,
But
Yeah.
also,
in the
lightheartedly,
ICU.
what is the chances of the dream venue being at the same time? That is not coincidence, and I lightheartedly, I don't think that's coincidence. I think they kind of did that on purpose.
I think that Ella still holds resentment towards Lana when she shouldn't. It wasn't Lana's fault at all that her ex liked the children way too much.
Yeah.
Like Lana was not trying to steal your boyfriend. Your boyfriend was a creep. Um,
Yeah.
honestly, what I to be honest, I feel that this is a no assholes here
Mm.
situation. I think this family needs to go to therapy
Therapy.
together and work things out because it's clear that there is resentment from Ella towards Lana, and it seems that Lana is reciprocating that resentment, likely due to feeling the resentment her sister has towards her. but
Yeah.
it is not fair to be putting the parent in this situation where, OP has to pick one child or the other, and whoever she doesn't pick is going no contact. That's not a fair
Yeah.
situation at all.
And
I think this family needs therapy. I think Ella has some problems from, you know, her previous relationship and not being desired until that relationship. I think that has affected her confidence drastically. And
mhm.
due to that, she felt threatened when her ex showed any sort of interest in her sister.
Yeah, I actually do a little bit disagree because I feel like yes, they all should go to therapy, but I think Ella's the asshole is an asshole for this because first of all, a graduation cannot be moved, a wedding can.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
So
I
they
do
said that
feel
it was
if
supposed
they're
to be next year
yeah, it was supposed
originally.
to be next year originally, and if you say that there's no availability in that venue for the next couple years, you weren't planning on having your wedding in that venue originally.
yeah,
You were planning on having it at a different venue, so what does it matter if you go to a different venue?
yeah,
So I'd say
it
if there is an asshole here, it is Ella, but I feel like this is just a more complex, like, everyone needs therapy together to work this out.
yeah, it's it is I feel the only person who has no fault because there is fault on like who has minimal fault. I feel like yes, the mother does have some fault because she never addressed the resentment and anything before it got to this. Um, but I feel like the OP, the mother, she has the least amount of fault for any of this
Mm-hmm.
because the it is a an issue. It first of all, it's very hard to raise children. None of us have done it, but we were raised by parents, and I there's not a single mention of a father in this post. So she's either a single mother, she the father's not very involved, or the father is just not helpful at all in this
Mm-hmm.
situation. There are three options, and if there is a father in the picture, then
Well,
that is
OP says that Ella wants OP to walk her down the aisle, which typically it is the father who does that job.
yeah,
So that makes me assume that there isn't a father
yeah,
involved or in the picture at all, which makes it even
yeah,
worse. It makes it so much
yeah, because
worse
like
because this
yeah,
mother
because
has clearly given up a lot to care for her children the way she has.
especially to go to all of the track meets, all of the debates, and almost every single event, that is a lot of time.
Mhm.
That is a lot of time for based off of what has been said. Because originally, I didn't process that at the end it says a failure as a mother, so I assumed that this was a father because of the walking down the aisle. And just now, like when I had just read it, is when I finally processed the mother part.
Mhm. And if
It's
this is a single mother, she likely is working a job as well and has sacrificed this much to go to her children's events. Likely
yes, because
leaving work early, taking days off just to be there for her
yes,
children, which
yeah,
is why I feel that OP is not the asshole. If anyone
no,
is, it's Ella. I don't think Lana's the asshole because
no,
she's not at fault for anything that had gone down. I think she is
she,
rightfully hurt.
mm-hmm.
And while it may seem like an overreaction, her saying that she will never come back if like from college, I think that she is just still hurt.
Yeah,
And
and I think that it's also just a reaction because Ella is very clearly using all of this against their mother, and it's already a hard situation to be in, and Lana just telling her, like, realizing there's actually a chance that their mother might choose to go to Ella's wedding instead of her graduation, which she worked so hard to get. It's
It's just a
I can
shitty
understand why
situation.
I understand why Lana did it, because she 100% is afraid that her mother isn't gonna be there, because it's a thing. It's an
Her graduation is just as important as her sister's wedding for
yeah,
the point in her life
especially
that she's at.
yeah, especially since their mother went to both of Ella's graduations,
Yeah, so to
both of
miss
them.
her high school one, it's just like it's shitty. It's a shitty
Yeah,
situation.
like
It's
It would be really fucked up if you go to one of the kids'
yeah,
graduations and not the other.
exactly. If
yeah,
you went to both of
like
Ella's and then missed the high school graduation of your other
like
daughters,
and like college graduations, in my opinion, it's not as big of a deal if your parents don't go to it, because if you're in college,
you're more
yes, you are
independent.
accomplished. You're more independent. You're more likely, if you're in college, there's a good chance that you're going to go to even more college and have more graduations. So it's a thing of, you never know really how many graduations of college there are going to be. But as long as you go to, but you only ever get one high school graduation. That is the one guaranteed graduation you will ever get from your child. And if you don't go to that graduation, you shouldn't have you shouldn't be considered, you're not a good parent, because that is the only graduation you are guaranteed. And not everybody's guaranteed it, because some people drop out of high school. And so if you're first of all, if your child is even graduating high school, that is an accomplishment of it in and of itself, even though 90% of the population, I might be overdoing that, but a lot of the population graduates high school, because so many
Nowadays,
people don't.
especially, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
it's more common to graduate from high school now.
yeah,
But,
like
I'll
like,
say that, like my parents' stuff, they try to make it to all of our like achievements, even though that's by like contrast. I have two parents, but even they try to make to everything for
yeah,
three kids. Keep in mind, which even if one of our things get missed, we don't hold as a
hmm
resentment to our siblings because we
yeah.
understand.
hmm
The
Or
yeah,
fact
we'll have
that
one
Ella's
parent that misses.
weaponizing it, too.
yeah,
You missed one of
like
my things because you had pneumonia and you were in the hospital? Like, what?
like
She didn't choose to
it,
go to Lana's stuff over that event. She literally couldn't.
yeah, it's like, I fully understand the hurt of not having a parent or your parents show up to an important event for you, because my dad or was never showed up to any of my tennis, like, unless, like, very well, he showed up to a couple, but it was very very rare for him to show up to anything. My tennis matches, anything to do with tennis in general, anything to do with golf, he never showed up to any of my golf stuff aside from senior night when I was a senior. I think that is the only time I ever saw him at one of my stuff things. And it was because, actually no, he didn't even show up to that one. So, like, my dad never showed up to any of my stuff. He showed up to my graduation, obviously. Um but I don't hold that against him, because I'm not close with him. And honestly, I kind of expected it after growing up. And I understand that you're used to your mother being there for everything, but that doesn't give Ella the right to do this.
Yeah.
Everybody has things that get missed.
what I take
Mhm.
from this
And
one is everyone here, like this family needs therapy, Ella especially, and
mhm,
they need to work through this if there
mhm,
is any hopes of preserving their relationships.
yeah.
Because clearly there is tension and hurt that is remaining that is negatively affecting their relationships, and there's severe resentment between the two sisters.
Mhm,
But if anything, Ella is the asshole, and she should not have scheduled her wedding on her sister's graduation to put her mom in
mhm.
this situation when she very well was
Yeah.
planning her wedding for the next year. Like,
Yeah.
that was definitely
So,
intentional.
yeah. So this is a
Oh.
comment that was made on the post. Not the asshole. Ella's manipulating you. Sorry, but I believe that she intentionally booked that date as the wedding date to push you into a corner and force you to pick her over her sister. Then added the cruel threat of cutting you out of her life. She doesn't even want her sister at her wedding. For goodness sake, the one event you missed was because you were extremely unwell in the hospital and she throws it in your face. I'm sorry, as I can imagine that this is so hard for you, and both events are once in a lifetime events for both of your girls. And you have to choose. I think Lana is right and you are being manipulated by Ella, but it doesn't make this this situation any easier for you. How do you how do the rest of your family feel? Also, do you have a relationship with Eric's parents at all?
Ooh.
Like, it's a very interesting because like a lot of people are saying like no, you're not the asshole because this is a really bad situation to be put in, and you there's nothing you can do. Um, but um, there's this is another one that is a really good point. 100%, I don't believe Ella is being truthful about the date or being booked out. Just ask yourself, does this sound like something Ella would do on purpose to stick it to his sister? I can tell you from what I read in your post, it does sound like something she would 100% do. Call the venue, find out yourself what their scheduling is like. Her ex almost or pretty much did try to SA your youngest in your home, and her reaction speaks volumes. At this point, I'd probably rather just go to Lana's, as I know 100% she's innocent in all of this. Somebody replies to this saying, absolutely call the venue and ask if they have any possibility to reschedule and how much they would charge for that. I would also try to call Eric or a message thread with the two of them. Tell him you are really sorry you are not able to attend at that date, but if they find any other date, you will be happy to pay for the venue. Don't say anything negative about your daughters, but that the situation puts your family in a tough spot. Sorry, they spelled it weird. A tough spot, and you don't want to put a damper on their happy day. Talk to Lana. I would talk to Lana. I would go to her graduation, as she cannot control when it is. Find out if she's okay with other family members attending the wedding. This is a compromise. Then throw her a big graduation slash going away party with the family during the following weekend. And
Hmm.
I think that's a great idea because
Mm-hmm.
especially since so many people are so many family members are going to have to choose as well. It's not just affecting the mother and Lana, and it's also affecting like grandparents. It's affecting
Everybody.
aunts. It's affecting all of the family that you might have
Mm-hmm.
because typically graduations let all of your family come. You like your entire family could come to your graduation.
No.
No, well, this is also a private school, so they said that it's a lot smaller of a graduating class, so I'm sure that they would let a lot more people in
Maybe. I know I
for the grad.
had maybe 5 tickets for family members to come,
Yeah,
so I couldn't
Um,
have, like,
I
We had
Our
unlimited as well.
our graduation, I don't remember. We had like I don't fully remember, but I remember that I had like I we weren't told a limit or anything as far as I'm aware. Because we also held ours outside at the football field. So,
Oh, we held ours outside too, but they still
Yep.
limited it.
mm,
Most of my family, like extended family, had to watch through the live stream instead.
mm,
For ours, it either was you had to you didn't get to see at the bench and you were forced to see from afar, or you got to
yeah.
see in the benches. And even so, the only family members that came were what's it called my family and then my cousin's family
hmm
because their kid was playing in the band.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine was
but
just my parents and my siblings.
yeah, but like as well as like they're like your grandparents, maybe some of your cousins, maybe your aunts, some of your aunts.
Grandparents, where are they? Oh, right, in Mexico. Sorry. Sorry.
They like not as like their grandparents like all the some extended family might want to come to see the graduation because some schools let a lot of people come for per person, but and we don't know how many people are able to go, and because of that, it's putting all of them in a tough spot too, to also have to choose between the girls.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea to call up that venue because you would
Yeah,
like to know if your daughter is maliciously picking that date so that you could do
yeah,
that. Because
yeah,
Lana believes it, and I believe it too.
yeah.
Are
I do
they?
too.
Is there an update for that or not?
Um, I'll look at. Well, no, this was posted 18 hours ago. Let
Oh,
Oh
so
me.
shit.
no.
I'll.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no.
We'll have to keep an eye on that for if we do another Am I the Asshole
Yeah,
episode, though.
yeah. I'll follow the account so then I can see if there's an update at any point. Likely the update will probably, if there's an update, it will probably happen close after August 10th,
Yeah,
after
because it's
everything goes
a high
down.
school graduation, and they say they wait till summer school ends, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
about August, the graduation.
No, like they said the date was August 10th.
Yeah, so we'll find out more
So,
then.
we'll find out
Or
like
earlier.
probably yeah, we might have an answer sooner, but likely we're not going to know anything until way later.
Darn.
Which
Which is
that's the
understandable.
that's the worst part about reading stories that are super new is
Yeah.
you don't know how they end. But reading newer stories makes sure that like we aren't reading stories that have been read a million times.
Oh, that was an
Yeah, it's
interesting
also
one.
pretty interesting.
That one is
Yeah.
And
interesting
you're
and
gonna be
very
left on a cliffhanger.
complicated.
Yeah. That's one of the
Ugh.
reasons I chose it.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, should we spin to find out what our next one will be?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So I also put I put some Reddit places like r/no sleep, r/entitled parents, r/malicious compliance, and
Hmm.
r/sour thoughts.
Oh no.
So those are on this wheel now as well.
Feel free to leave suggestions for more topics, guys, by the ways.
Oh yeah,
R
we need it.
slash no sleep.
Yay!
That is what we're doing next week. R/no sleep.
That's kind of
Yay!
ironic because you just suggested that.
I literally
Yeah.
suggested it today.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I
Thank you for
haven't
the research,
researched
guys.
yet. I should, ooh, you know what we should do? Let's do no sleep short stories. Because I like
Yeah.
horror.
Oh gosh. So next
I
week
also like horror.
we're gonna be reading some short stories from r/no sleep.
Spooky.
And then
Oh, I need to take
we'll
my
see what
medication.
the thing is after that one. Um but that being said, I hope everybody's been I hope hope everybody's enjoyed
Mhm.
this episode and enjoyed the Reddit stories and our opinions on if these people were assholes or not. It was very interesting. It was very interesting discussions.
Tell us what you thought.
Yeah, tell us what you guys thought about each of these. And I hope that everybody enjoyed, and I hope none of you guys get lost in the grove. I've been Ace.
I've been Tori.
I was August.
August?
August.
I was August.
Right. Okay.
The month.
Okay,
Don't get lost
yup,
in the
you were the
grove.
month.
Don't get lost in the grove, y'all.
Or do.
Or do.
We were so in sync there. Alright.
Whoa.
Maybe
Like
do get lost in
connected.
the grove. Goodbye.